Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. We were talking to the Minister of Information and Culture, Laji Lai Mohammed. Let's switch our attention and move to our Abuja studio, where a former federal lawmaker, Senator Shehu Sani, has since joined us from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Senator Sani, for joining us tonight on the program. How do you describe the situation that is happening in South Africa, especially with the kind of relationship that Nigeria has with that country? I know those days when you were a human rights activist and some of your interest areas in this regard when apartheid had a stronghold in South Africa. But with what is happening and the decision or the move by the federal government, how do you see this?
Well, Sharon, it is a historical fact that we have made sacrifices for South Africa to the point that Nigeria was categorized as one of the frontline states in the struggle against apartheid. And I haven't been able to stand by them in their moments of need and their trying period and contributed immensely to the liberation of that country. I believe that it is an act of ingratitude for some of them today to unleash their venom and terror against innocent Nigerians. Now, why this has reached this point? Let us go back. These attacks and violence, xenophobic violence against Nigerians, has been the pattern, a systematic pattern in the last 11 years. And why it reached to this crescendo simply has to do with the fact that successive governments in Nigeria has never deemed it fit to take the issue very seriously. And for that, it continued. And this time around, I believe the action of government was informed by the pressure and the heat of Nigerians that something must be done this time around. And to the fact that it wasn't only Nigerians that were targeted, other nationals were also targeted. So the response of the federal government now is commendable, but more needs to be done. But also questions need to be asked. I earlier believed that by bringing back, recalling our ambassador is a good step, but now I can see some conflicting responses, whether the ambassador was recalled or not. And I also support it, and I believe that it is in order that we should boycott the World Economic Forum, and it is wrong for any Nigerian. I heard the minister saying that it's the federal government that withdraw. But once the president and the federal government decided that we should pull out from such a forum, it is incumbent of all Nigerians to comply. And it is wrong for anybody. He is being diplomatic. It's wrong for anyone to attend any conference in South Africa. Is wrong. And I don't believe that the whole of South Africans are against us. I believe it's a select few. But of concern is the fact that our friends, those that are supposed to raise a voice, were silent or were simply sitting on the fence, and that doesn't help matters. So as far as I'm concerned, the federal government should move further by calling an extraordinary session of the African Union, discuss and debate this issue, and also go further to demand that the jurisdiction of the African Court of Justice should be expanded to treat cases of xenophobia as a crime against humanity, and people, whether in or out of government, that are involved in it by their words and actions, they should also be brought to book. South African government has not been able to stand up to this, and it is reached a point that it's as if they're helpless about it. So the actions of Nigerians is right, but it is wrong for anybody to attack any businesses, South African businesses in Nigeria, and it's also wrong for anyone to justify the crime of apartheid because of xenophobic violence. But the government need to do more, or else the anger, the protest will continue.
Well, we have information that Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari will address the nation after he's been briefed, perhaps on Friday or Saturday. That is the information that we have. But a lot of Nigerians are also worried that should all of this movement being made, how can we ensure that in the future, this kind of situation does not happen, that Nigerians can be respected wherever they choose to go, especially when we have diplomatic ties with countries wherever Nigerians are. What would you suppose, Senator, that Nigeria could do to ensure the future occurrence of hostilities against its citizens in countries, or foreign countries, would stop?
First of all, I don't think I support the idea of an envoy sent to South Africa. They can't be unleashing violence, maiming and killing our people, and then we are sending an envoy. They are supposed to send an envoy to us to appeal to us, to plead with us, to explain their situation. But I have carefully listened to responses from some even progressive elements from the South African government and party, ANC. Their point was that the violence wasn't targeted at Nigerians, but even if it is not targeted at Nigerians, it is targeted against Africans. And xenophobia supposed to be an act of fear or violent form against foreigners, but it is clear that it's Africans that were targeted. So to prevent this from happening, I believe we should have a proactive foreign policy, one that will adequately and promptly respond to the needs of our citizens whenever they are being threatened or attacked outside of our country. And it is a shame that an African is not safe within Africa. When an African unleashes violence against other Africans within the African continent, it's a shame on us, it's a shame on the black race, and it is simply justifying the racists from the ultra-left, ultra-right in the Western world that don't believe that we should govern ourselves. So for me, I think what we need to do as a country, this should be the last time. A red line should be drawn. The president must be firm and strong on this until an action is taken. They need to pay the price for what they have done. You can't just start killing people unnecessarily. I believe that our relationship has come a long way. It's over 6 decades. We have made a lot of sacrifices. Many of us, as young people, were members of anti-apartheid organizations. And it is a shame that at this very time, our people are being killed. So Nigeria government are the ones to be firm on this, and that message will be sent.